Hey guys, what is up? This is Carl with DoveEyeFilms, and today I have a tutorial on how to do a ground explosion for y'all. Now, this is probably the 5th or 6th time that I've recorded this tutorial. I was listening to the last one that I did, and I just sounded really boring, and it just wasn't really an exciting tutorial, so I'm redoing it because I don't want y'all to be bored with my tutorials. I want y'all to be entertained, and I want to educate y'all, and I want y'all to learn something while actually being entertained, so... the last one was actually an hour, so I'm going to try and do this one in under 30 minutes, but it's going to require me to move very fast, and it's going to be an intermediate tutorial, so you got to know your stuff with this one, but we're going to go ahead and dive right into it, and this is what we're going to be making today. Okay, now let's get started. Alright, go ahead and import Action Essentials 2, dirt charges, as well as pick some explosions that you want to use, and some debris flying that you want to use, as well as some dust elements. We might actually get to use some dust elements today as well. Okay, once you have all of that, go ahead and bring your main footage down to the comp. Now all I have here is just me pretending to shoot somebody, and this was actually shot on a tripod, so we don't actually have to do any tracking with this. But if you shot it freehand, you're going to want to go ahead and use Mocha or some type of 3D tracking software or After Effects built-in tracker to track it so it doesn't seem like it's just pasted on there. But because we're on a tripod, we're not going to have to do that, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And I'm going to first bring down a dirt charge, and this is dirt charge 19. And what people don't know is Action Essentials elements that are included in the Action Essentials pack. It's actually, they're all slowed down. They're not in real time. So we're going to have to actually fix this for every single one that we do. So we're going to go ahead and right click it, or control on a Mac, and go time stretch. We're going to time stretch it by a factor of 60. Alright, now to blend this into the ground, I'm going to position it right here. I'm going to go ahead and go Effect, Color Correction, Tint. And I'm going to sample a dark layer for the black, and I'm going to sample a lighter color for the white. And that's not looking that great, so I'm going to toy around with it just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pick the ellipse tool, and I'm going to select the bottom half of it, and I'm going to go down here and click inverted and feather it. That way it blends into the ground a lot better. And towards when it gets bigger, I'm going to lower this and also make the ellipse a little bit bigger. And then towards the beginning, lower the feather a lot, so we have that. That doesn't really look that impressive, but we're gonna get to it. Go ahead and bring in dirt charge 20. We're gonna go ahead and put that over top of it, and we're gonna go ahead and go right click, time stretch, and time stretch it by a factor of 60. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and scale it down to make it fit with the explosion that we have below. Okay, so now what we have is this. And again, it doesn't look that great now, but it's gonna look good in the end. Alright, so now turn on our motion blur, which is actually gonna sell the effect a lot better. Then what we're gonna want to do is pick the first layer, which is dirt charge 20. And go ahead and go color correction, tint. We're going to want to tint this as well. So let's see. Alright. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and move along to our explosion. So go ahead and bring in your explosion layer, or your choice of explosion. And I chose, actually, explosion 1. We're going to go ahead and speed this up by a factor of 50 and not 50, not 60. Because we want this explosion to be a little bit faster. Okay, we want it to, right as this is coming up and explodes right about there, we want this to be about right there. We're going to go ahead and scrub back, and we're going to position this to fit with the fire of the dirt charge 20. Look at that. Now right when it hits right about there, I want it to just really pop out and get really large and explode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click S on the keyboard and put in position for scale. I'm also going to press P on the keyboard, and I already have a position keyframe, so that's good. Now I'm going to go look at this, and then right about there, I just want it to get a little bit bigger, so I'm going to increase it and position it. Let's see how that looks. That's looking good. And it drifts a little bit to the right, so I'm going to fix that. So that is looking really good right now. What we're gonna go ahead and do is click the elliptical tool right here, and we're gonna bring the elliptical up a little bit, and we're gonna feather the bottom of this. Actually, let's undo that, and let's go ahead and do a round rectangular tool, and make sure to get the bottom of this, invert it, feather it by about, let's say about 36, and then let's go back a little bit. That's looking good. Right about there, I think it's feathered, and I think it's just way too high up on it, so I'm going to go ahead and lower that. And lower the feather. Okay. So now what we have is this. Alright, looking good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a glow to the explosion by going into our effects and presets and clicking, just typing in glow. And putting that on there. And we're going to sample, let's disable the glow. And for the color B, let's pick one of these colors. And for the color A, let's pick a lighter color, and then enable that again. And we're also going to go to glow operation and go none, or you can mess around with these, maybe screen, or maybe overlay or hue, soft light maybe. It's just whatever you feel like. And just we're going to toy around with these settings a little bit. Okay, and that's looking pretty good, but to fix, I don't want it to be so bright at the beginning, so I'm going to go Effect, Color Correction, and Brightness and Contrast, and lower the brightness, and the contrast. Let me see if this will work. No, let's not do that. Let's do something else. Let's go effects, color correction. Let's see what would be good for this. Maybe hue and saturation, and lower the saturation at the beginning, and the lightness about right about there. I don't want the saturation to be too low, but I don't want it to be too bright either. Right about that right there looks good. Okay. And then as it gets bigger, right about there, I want it to be normal again. So I'm going to increase it. And then towards the end, I want it to become like, start to, you know, get duller again, instead of it having that continuous glow. So I'm going to lower the saturation and lower the lightness a bit, so it just gradually fades away. That's looking pretty good. Okay, go ahead and click the explosion layer and go blur and Gaussian blur. And Gaussian blur it just a little bit. Let's say 3. And I want it to gradually get blurred. So 0 at the beginning, and then as it goes, it's going to be 3 right about there. And then as it goes away, I want it to become maybe about 1-ish, and that should do it. I'm also gonna go effects and click on the Gaussian blur and right click the keyframes, and I'm actually gonna select easy ease, so it has an easy, so it looks more realistic that way. And that's looking good. Go ahead and enable motion blur for this one as well. That's looking good. Alright, next, go ahead and go layer, new solid, and we're gonna pick sort of a pinkish orangish type feel. Let's say right about there. That's looking good. Okay. Now that we have that, go ahead up here and go the ellipse tool, and we're going to create an ellipse over this right here. Okay, and now position it accordingly, and then click on it and feather it out. And we're gonna go, and you can mess with the modes. You could do screen, or you could do soft light or add. And I think add's gonna be a little bit too much, so I'm gonna go with screen. And let's preview this out. Let me see. And so right about there, I want it to just really explode the scene. So I'm gonna enlarge it right about there and position it right there. And then I'm going to scrub back through this, and right about there, we need to lower it. And that should be enough. Okay. And let's try and see if we can't match this. Okay, looking good. Okay, go ahead and click T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity, and we're gonna click 0 for this right here. And then when it really explodes, we're gonna go 100. So let's go right about there. Actually, it was farther back. It was right about there. And then scrub on through it just a little bit more. And right here, we're gonna go 0. Now, I still feel like this isn't actually going fast enough. So we're gonna go ahead and click the explosion layer, and time time stretch, and instead of 50, let's go ahead and do 60. Alright, looking good, looking good. Okay, next line of action that we need to do is that we actually need to make the ground ripple, the wave blast, if you will. So go ahead and do Layer, New, Solid, and we're going to pick a white. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click the ellipse tool, click the center, click Alt-Shift, just drag this, and then bring it into the middle. And we're going to go down here and we're going to click 3D, and we're going to go up here and make sure that this is in the center, this right here. So we're going to go ahead and fix the anchor point of this right about there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and flip it. I've already messed it up. Let me redo it. It's just not wanting to work. It's got to be difficult. Alright, that's work. That'll work. And then go ahead and bring it down. Oh. Bring it down to the ground. Awesome. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and make it scale with the explosion. So let's say right about, let's see, right about there. We want to click scale, and we want to make sure that this is just huge. And then we want to go back here when it's small and go 0. And then make sure that it's always kind of centered correctly. And that's looking good. Okay, go ahead and feather it as well. And I'm just going to do it by 45. And we're going to go to the modes, and we're going to make this layer screen. We're also going to drop the opacity of it to about 6 or 12. It's just whatever you think's best. Well, that's looking good. Now go ahead and do Layer, New, Solid. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is go up here, and we're going to click the ellipse, not the ellipse, the round, what is it called? Round rectangle tool. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and go up here, and we're going to try and match it to our horizon line. And what we're doing right now is we're actually limiting the ground blast to only go this way. So we're going to cut it off at our horizon line. And how we're doing this is we're going to go down here to the white solid, which you probably want to go ahead and name it something like ground blast wave. Okay. And then pick track mats and go alpha inverted mat. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and fix this a little bit by bringing both of these layers, and we're going to bring them below all of our dirt charge and explosions. We're also going to make sure that it gradually just kind of disappears. So let's see. We have that happen. Okay, And we also want to duplicate both of these. And we're going to make a secondary blast that is delayed. So what we have is this. And the second one, you might want to increase the opacity of it as well. And we are almost done with this explosion. Alright, now we're going to do a secondary, or a third shockwave, and it's going to be not on the ground, but it's actually going to be like around this. So we're going to go layer new, solid, white. We're going to go ahead and go over here to the effects and presets and go fractal noise. We're going to select that and put it right there. Alright, and we're also going to go over here and we're going to type in CC and sphere and find that, and we're gonna put it right there. You can go under CC sphere and the lighting and shading, drop all that down because we're gonna be using that pretty soon. Alright, great. Okay, so what we're gonna now do is go up to fractal noise, and let me see where it is. Under shading, I'm sorry, not fractal noise, under shading, under CC sphere, we're going to lower the metal to 0, the roughness to 0, and all of this just to 0. Alright, and now that we have that, we're pretty much all set. We're going to go ahead and condense all of this, and we're going to go to effects. We're also going to go down here to transition, and we're going to figure, where is linear wipe? That's what we need, linear wipe, and then put linear wipe above the CC sphere layer. And the transition completion, set it to 36, or not 46, 36. That's good. And then go ahead and duplicate the linear wipe. In the secondary one, we're going to click on the wipe angle. We're going to go 180. We're also going to click this, and we're also going to go 46. That's what we needed. Okay, now with the white solid selected, we're going to go ahead and with the CC, click on CC sphere, and we're going to position it towards the bottom. And we're also going to scale it up right about here, and then towards the beginning we're going to actually make it 0. And I'm just going to position that right about there, and then just fix it as it goes along. And we're also going to tint it white. So go Effect, Color Correction, Tint, and tint it just all white, map black to white as well. Oh, not red. Okay. We're gonna click T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity. We're gonna lower the opacity to, let's say, 12 again. We're also gonna click it and go Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and we're gonna blur it by, let's say, 4. Not 44. 4. And then we're also going to go to Mode and make it Screen. And let's wait for After Effects to catch up to us. Alright, that's looking good. Okay. Then all you have to do is add a sound effect, and after this, add your dirt elements. I mean, not your dirt elements, your dust elements. And then you could add some debris flying towards you. Add a camera shake, and you're good to go. I'm not going to go in depth into how to do all that right now because I'm way over my time limit. But this has been Carr with DoveEyeFilms, and that is how to do a explosion. Please check out our Facebook page and Twitter page. We just got them a couple days ago. There you can follow us on what we're doing, what tutorials are coming out. You can ask us questions or suggest tutorials to come out. And just a really good way to communicate with us and follow us. Also, please consider subscribing. It would help me out a lot. But thank you for watching.